competing groups in South Waziristan in January 2009, allegedly plotting attacks across that border into Afghanistan, which would give credence to those who've argued that that border has been used for access into Afghanistan. Your response to that?
You see, one thing you should remember is that General Hamid is a celebrated Pakistani patriot. And every movement that he does is very carefully monitored. It's monitored by the state, it's monitored by the media, it's monitored by the public. And there cannot be more nonsensical allegation than this one. Because the tribal areas of Pakistan are also the most heavily monitored area through satellites, through drones. And for General Hamid like celebrity to go into South Waziristan to orchestrate a warp strategy planning is the most utter nonsense. Like these reports also say that Pakistan Army tried to poison the US Army beer supply, as if Pakistan Army supplies beer to the American Army and, or control the food supply to the Americans and NATO forces. So these kind of nonsensical allegations. And the fact is, you see, I was myself a resistance fighter against the Soviets during the 80s. I fought alongside the Afghan resistance. And to wage any kind of resistance, you need three basic elements. One, the base area where the training camps takes place. Number two are the weapon supplies and explosives and ammunition which go into the country to fight. And third, the supply stream of fighters to go in. In the last 10 years, not a single proof has been given or any allegations put against the ISI or the army that Pakistan Army is running training camps in the tribal areas or weapon supplies or trucks or ammunitions are going into Afghanistan.
Well, the point is made there. Let's just move on at this particular point and just step back a little bit and look at the U.S. domestic impact. The American people have had scant access to full details of the war in Afghanistan, and the release of the WikiLeaks documents, regardless of accuracy, has provided a snapshot of the realities on the ground previously not made public. Confidence in Obama's war effort appears to have been sliding, and the pressure to defend his military strategy is now greater than ever. Critics seeking evidence that the additional deployment of 100,000 troops and an increased use of special operational forces to disrupt the Taliban and al-Qaeda is working. The White House has dismissed the leaked documents as old news. Obama, they say, that information that they say Obama was fully aware of when implementing his new war strategy. But the apparent rush to pass a critical war finance bill in Congress hints at an administration that is under mounting pressure. Well, Obama's review of the war effort is due at the end of the year. And Richard Weitz in Washington, is this release of information going to impact on his ability to maintain the support of Congress and the public as a whole throughout this period, not only in the short term, but in this medium term as well?
At the moment, the documents themselves don't appear to be having much of an impact. The way they're structured, as I said, it's not like the Pentagon Papers, which actually were a nice narrative history you could read. This is just a bunch of documents that are very hard to interpret, which is why most people tend to work through the New York Times, the Guardian, or Der Spiegel, because they've been processed. It doesn't appear to have changed anyone's position on the war. As I said, it's what people knew already. And I think the administration is correct. But when these documents end precisely at the point when President Obama may announce his new strategy, and his strategy is designed to address a lot of these problems, minimize civilian casualties, work to improve the U.S. image in Afghanistan and Pakistan, as well as draw them together, and take other steps to basically counter the problems that were identified. And that's what people are going to look at. And at the end of the year, has the extra troops, has the new strategy really made a difference? And at the end of the year, people will then make probably a reasoned judgment about whether this is the way to go or whether we need to make a change of course, and if so, what direction.
Well, Shukriya Barakzai in Kabul, do you think that the strategy being practiced by Obama needs to change? Are you hoping that this information may lead to a review of what the U.S. is doing in Afghanistan?
I hope so. I hope the new information, which is they got particularly about the casualty, they should change the American mandate and strategy back in Afghanistan, because the civilian casualty is not anymore acceptable for us as Afghan, because we shouldn't take the life of the people under name and under flag of democracy back in Afghanistan. They are human and we have to protect them. At the meantime, I just want to raise a few other issues, because only strategy may not help. We need loyal, committed partners for that war, not those partners which is on one hand they are making enemy, on the other side they're standing as a friend to us and they want to shake our hand. And I think as long as there's a double policy, particularly in our neighbor countries and especially on the Pakistan side, I think there'll be no success true to the U.S. force or true to the Afghan force back in Afghanistan, because as I remember long ago, the border areas was always the areas which is Pakistan government never can control about it. They always was remote areas, which is there was no school, no road, no clean drink water. So purposely they keep people like that to stay like that. And this time it's not the matter if they're killing by American force or if they are losing their life because of the Taliban or other insurgents or Pakistan force, ISI, or their intelligence service or their forces. So it doesn't matter. In any case, they are the population, which is they never was counted as a Pakistani population inside of the population. They never have the identity under which name. And just recently they got the Pakhtunkhwa, which is they pay a lot for that. At the meantime, if Pakistan doesn't stopping the Talibanization process within inside of the Pakistan, I think that long the way to fight against terror will be longer and longer, because what we need to cooperate together, because our success and our enemy somehow it's shared, but not in one way and one goal and one vision rather than double policy. And I hope that Mr. Obama and President Obama should change back their policy about Afghanistan, not only concentrating about the war policy. There is time to have peace policy for Afghanistan and peace strategy.
Well, that brings us to the end of this discussion. My thanks to our guests, Richard Weitz in Washington, D.C., Shukriya Barakzai in Kabul, and Zaid Hamid in Islamabad. And thank you for watching this edition of Inside Story. We welcome your comments and suggestions. Please email them to us at insidestory@aljazeera.net. I'm Mike Hanna. Goodbye for now.